Okay. So I just wanted to thank everyone for taking the time to be with us tonight. And I'm really looking forward to our upcoming year. I don't know about you all, but I learned a tremendous amount
Yes.
last year, being my first round. So I hope to be a better guide for you this coming year for sure. And hopefully you all can teach me a few things that you learned throughout the process and how maybe we could make things better with regards to whether it be our state meetings of sorts or how we're doing things on the back end. One of the things that I sent to everyone was the chairman guideline
Yes.
calendar guide. So I just sort of wanted to walk through that. I had quite a few notes made. Karen and I went over them last week. I had quite a few notes made um, that affected the timeline, but also quite a few things that I made sort of just a mental note for myself to help us make our jobs easier when it comes time for reporting. We decided the other night that it might be best if we went through the timeline tonight and a couple of other things that are pertinent to say between now and December. And then if it's okay with everyone else, I think as we get closer, maybe even late December sort of busy, but maybe the early either sometime before the holidays get really going or maybe first week of January having another meeting, and that way everything will sort of be fresh for us as far as the specifics that I think will help us all with receiving entries and just how to make that process flow a little better. So hopefully that'll work for everyone, and rather than talking about it now and it really not applying until come late January. So all right, so we'll get started. Obviously, we started with our meeting tonight. And then and I'm going to try to share my screen here and see if this is going to. Can you all see that?
Yes.
Yes.
Mhm.
I'm not sure how to get rid of this side thing, so we're just gonna. It's really just the same information as the attachments that I sent for you all.
It's
But in
okay.
case there were some that some of you that weren't able to print those. So in October, we have the Southeastern Region Conference that will be held in Roanoke, Virginia, October 23rd through the 26th. And Karen, you would have to remind me if when the call typically comes out for that.
So the call has not come out yet. If anybody is interested in attending, we do have a link to share, or we can share with you for the hotel, but the call has not quite come out yet. Usually it comes out, I'm going to say it should be out by the beginning of September or so. But if you're interested in attending, just flip me a note and I'll get you the link to the hotel.
And then in November, the important dates to remember are the 7th and 8th. We will be doing the CCWC at the Women's Club again on the 7th. And then the next day, we will be having our fall meeting at the Women's Club as well. So we hope everyone can join us for both of those events. And one of the things that, let's see, let me get. So one of the things that I wanted to mention about the fall meeting is that Karen and I have been sort of toying around with the idea of doing, typically our chairmen do a presentation, like a 2-minute presentation for everyone at the fall conference meeting, talking about their areas and sort of what's coming up. And we had the idea of doing something, and for those of you on the call, Pat Witt, that are part of the Women's Club of Raleigh, they do sort of a showcase where prior to their meetings, if someone wants to come and sort of get a feel for what the different CSPs, different areas of advancements, they can sort of talk to the different chairmen. And I may give you guys a call, you and Penny, and just sort of pick your brain a little bit. But we thought it might be sort of an interesting way to do it instead of having you all get up and speak. I think people will be maybe more engaged that way. So having sort of what I would call like a little fair. We're
Right.
working on sort of a name for it, but what we would do is have it set up, and remind me, Karen, we're trying to work out the details, but we were thinking about possibly having them set up so people could do sort of visit those prior to the start, correct, Karen? And
Yeah,
then
prior to
maybe,
the start and then again at lunch, so you have plenty
Okay,
of time to get to chat with people and learn about what's new.
it's a great
So you-
idea.
yeah.
Yes, that is.
Like the idea.
So, so we thought that might be a little, and we are still working on sort of the details and trying to figure out sort of a fun way to again, get everyone engaged and make them want to come up and talk with the different, the different chairmen about what you do, and then how they can get more involved. I think sometimes face to face, and some people are more willing to ask questions as well when it's more in a more, smaller setting versus in a large setting. So more details to come on that, but definitely be thinking with regards to having a lot of you already have a trifold for your area, and or handouts that you might think are beneficial to your to the club women that will be in attendance. And if there's anything else, again, we'll probably try to nail this down. I would think if there's going to be any type of a theme to it, we'll probably nail that down here in the next week or two, so that we can give you guys plenty of time if you want to get creative with a storyboard, or however it is you want to sort of do your station. Any other?
Sounds good.
Good.
So, yeah, and that way you're not having to get
What
up in
are
front of
those
the whole group.
dates again?
Those are November. The fall meeting itself is on the 8th of November. It's a Saturday.
Thank
Uh,
you.
And CCWC is the night before.
Okay, great. Thank you.
The other thing that I wanted to mention at this juncture was the statewide initiative report. We'll get into a little more of that. Like I mentioned, that's one of the things on my list for our next meeting. But one of the things this was one I learned a lot more about in the past year. But that statewide initiative report that you all filled out, first of all, I will be sending you after. I've got a list of things to send you after this meeting. But I am going to be sending everyone's what we submitted to GFWC on your behalf, so to speak, on the GFWC-NC's behalf for each of your areas. I will be sending those to you so you can sort of see how, compare it to what it was you sent us, and you can sort of see if I had to pare anything down, and then be able to see the statewide initiative that we submitted. Most of those were submitted as you submitted them, but I know it's a little bit hard in that first year because you're reporting on what someone else did the first half of the year, and then you're reporting on what you did, right? And it's very difficult to, no matter how good you are, it's difficult to try to track others down and then not to mention remember what it was you actually did. So that's something that all of us could be thinking about right now is, okay, what have we done from January to this point? Go ahead and have some notes made for yourself so that when it's time to put that report together in January, it'll just be putting that last half of the year. And unfortunately, it'll be all of you this time. So it won't be having to depend on someone else to get you that information. This next report that we do will be a full year of what you yourself and your counterpart did. So I just encourage everybody. We're gonna, as we get down further in the deadlines, we're gonna ask that statewide initiative report gets sent before the other entry winners, just so that it's out of the way. And we'll again talk about that just a bit more later in the agenda. So in January, very busy month, January and February for all of us. We have here, you want to make sure that you're selecting your 3 judges, going ahead and be thinking through who your 3 judges will be, and then providing them with direction on the criteria for the judging, the award entries. One of the things that we are also talking about is trying to come up with a template, and we're working on that with regards to the entries to try to sort of help guide people a little bit better on that have not done these, how to better give the correct information, not only to make it more beneficial to those of us reading it, but also make it more consistent so the judges have more consistent information to judge one against the other.
Ashley,
Yes.
are you sure? I can only see one part of your screen, which is, I think it's the last page.
Which one?
I can only see March
through
2026.
June. If you can scoot
Yeah.
it up to the top page.
You know what? That's not what I'm trying to show. Okay, what can you see now?
Your
The
window
windows.
screen.
Windows.
Nothing.
It's blue.
I moved,
Yeah,
I
that's
moved
good.
everything.
Yeah.
Here we
Yes.
go. All right, is that better?
Oh, yes, thank
Yes,
you.
thank you.
That's good.
I've got multiple screens going on, so I can't remember which one it is it's pulling from. So
Thank
there
you,
we go.
Ashley.
So so again, just be thinking starting in January, we want everyone to be thinking about their judges. And then you'll start receiving your award entries as you did last year. In theory and in best case scenario, mid-January, but we all know that ends up being closer and closer to the end of the month. They have to be in by the 1st. We also, want to be really good about acknowledging when I was submitting, again, something that may not have seemed as important to me before, but as I was sending in my GF reports, is a little bit unnerving because I'm thinking, just because it says it's sent on my end doesn't mean that they received it. And I will tell you, it may not have always been that day, but I did get within 24 hours at least, if not immediately, I got a response from whoever I was sending it to confirming that they had received it. And it sort of it put my mind at ease that, hey, I can forget about that one, move on to the next one. So we want to make sure we're letting people know that we got it and thanking them for entering, because we do want more and more people we want to encourage them to do that. Respond to any questions, of course, that people have out there. We want to make sure that those of you who have a junior counterpart, that you're coordinating with them and keeping them involved as well. And the 31st I've put here as the 31st as being the deadline, a new deadline for the state initiative report, just so that we can have that sort of does you a favor and does me a favor as well, because it has those out of the way. And then I can start doing what I need to do on my end with them, getting them ready to send them on to GF. Any questions so far? And then in in February, we'll start preparing the judges an email for them with their spreadsheet, putting their entries. And a couple of you did this last year, but what we would like to see happen, and again, we can discuss this a little more as it gets a little closer, but we do really want to try to make things easy for our judges and put our entries into a spreadsheet if you can, and try to organize them to some degree so that your judges, they're doing us a really big favor by doing the judging for us, and we want it to be easy for them. We want most of their effort put into actually reading the entries and giving a lot of thought to who, which projects deserve to win versus figuring it out. So we want to make sure that we've done that. And then on the 4th of February, I have here as a deadline for providing award entries and scoring sheets to your judges. And this year, I would really like to ask everyone to make sure they copy me on this. And this is just really as a backup. We had some things last year unforeseen happen with as life gets in the way for some people. And this affords myself or Karen the ability to jump in and help if someone needs, you know, from that point forward, anything could happen. And so that way we could jump in and help if need be and take it off of someone's plate if, you know, if they've got a lot going on and this should not be a priority on their to-do list. The 13th is the date I picked for the deadline for the judges to have you the results back. And I know, again, like everything, we all sort of work on deadlines, but if the judges, as they get you your results back, if we could not wait until the deadline getting them to me, then as I get them in, I can do what I need to do with each one of those and move them on through to GF versus me having to do them all at the end. Because that is one thing I definitely learned. There is a lot to do after I receive those in to get them ready to send on to GF. On the 23rd, I sort of broke this down on your calendar guide. I broke it down for the CSPs and the advancement plan. They're just slightly different, and I didn't want to be confusing, given the fact that we do some of the awards are done just a little bit differently. So I won't read through this here, but it is broken down for the 23rd of February is for the deadline to have all of your winners sent in to me. And if there's any questions specifically within that information for if you're a CSP general or junior chairman, or if you're an advancement plan or special program chairman, if you have any questions specifically, please just let me know. And again, some of the specifics on like the limits of the maximum pages of the creativity and the narrative and all of that, we're going to sort of put that on the side until we meet at our next meeting. See. And in March, we have the president and junior director of juniors special project deadlines are March 1st of this year, or 2026, that is. And then March 7th, we have the State Arts Festival in Mebane. And then that's when we will, and again, we will certainly have another meeting in between, but the transition workshop. So we'll work on transitioning you all from your current position to the next person stepping in to take over the CSPs and advancement plans. Then in April, the end of April, on the 24th through the 26th is our annual convention that will be in Durham this year. And we will discuss again a little bit later presentations, materials for like we did this past year with regards to doing presentations for the awards at the convention. And then June 26th to the 29th, that is a GFWC convention, and that is in Scottsdale, Arizona. And we have our very own Wendy Carricker being inducted as president at that particular convention. So I feel like we'll have a pretty large showing from GFWC-NC at that. Any questions so far from anyone? Nope.
Nope.
All right. And then so for our resources, I wanted to mention we are working currently, I'm working on getting all the forms updated with any updated information. One of the things that I'm going to do is I'm going to work on updating every form. If it's okay with everyone, I'm going to send that to you. If you have a co-chair or if you have a junior counterpart, I'm going to send both of you your specific entry form. And I would like to ask that each of you help me by proofing the form. Hopefully there's very little getting changed. So hopefully the proofing part shouldn't be a problem. But also maybe go into that form and play around with the formulas and just throwing in some numbers, just making sure, testing the form itself, making sure nothing has sort of gotten wonky in the translation of putting it out there last year, and then sometimes you just never know. So I had to update several forms last year because I didn't test them prior to, and so just wanted to make sure that they work for people when it's time for them to use them. And that way, everybody, if anyone's contact information has changed, I definitely would like to know that so I can get that updated. And the other thing that I have on my list to send you all after this meeting, like I mentioned earlier, is I'll be sending you exactly what I submitted to GF on your behalf and the CSP areas and the advancement plans last year, so you can sort of see how it all sort of ended up and how it got submitted. And then I just wanted to put out there as a reminder, I know in the last year I've used GFWC.org and the GFWC-NC website a lot. There is a lot of information out there. And so we want to make sure that we're utilizing, rather than trying to recreate the wheel and think about new ideas. There's so much on there. In my newsletter article, my Club Woman article this month, I even talked about where you can highlight your projects at the GF level. So one of the things that, excuse me, one of the things that I also, with the admin book revisions, Karen, do you know what our target date is to have that done?
No, I mean, as soon as I think we have just a few things, and as soon as the forms are ready, we can update. So hopefully by September, which should be plenty of time before people get started doing, all the reporting.
Okay. And I know what, there was one other thing. I must not have put it on my PowerPoint here. One of the things I skipped over was Club Woman magazine articles. One of the things Karen and I talked about is, I know a couple of people ask about the schedule and could we sort of switch it up, because it seems as if everyone, is always, the articles tend to be, this is such and such a month. These are some ideas for projects that your club can do. One of the things that, that's sort of has been the way we've done our articles for quite some time. And just before sort of doing that and shuffling up the schedule a little bit, Karen and I spoke and decided one of the things that we would love to see is maybe just different things in the articles. And then we would leave the schedule as is. And that being said, more discussing, it doesn't have to necessarily be a special month or a special topic, but, it could be highlighting clubs that, for those of you who are on Facebook and Instagram, highlighting clubs and some of the projects that they're doing, because what a better way to show other clubs in our state what could be done for certain things. So for example, arts and culture, Kelly and Caroline may go out there, and instead of writing an article about this being such and such a month and here's some project ideas, they could simply go out and grab some arts and culture projects that they've seen other clubs do. And it doesn't even have to be in North Carolina. That goes back to the GFWC website. They have a Volunteers in Action blog. Yeah. And as I've been reading through that gives some amazing projects that other clubs across the country have done. And it gives clubs, sometimes clubs love doing the same old projects over and over, but then there's some that really just want, to breathe a little bit of new life into their CSP or advancement area. And this would give them some ideas. And when you're doing that, think through. One of the things that I always, when I was president of one of my clubs, is it needs to be something that's reasonable, right? As Karen one of the phrases Karen said, we want something, most people want to do something that's, they want to see a project that they can repeat. And, something that's not, so
Right.
big and so huge that it's, their clubs aren't big enough to do it. So think about
Right.
that when you're giving them ideas is, what is something that would be, manageable for the majority of our clubs in our state?
Yeah.
Financially, manpower, all of that. So,
Rinse and repeat.
yes, absolutely. So please, I'll send out the reminder of those months. I think we're going to end up shifting everything a month because I think, education had this month and Donna was out of town. So we may shift everything, but just look for that from me this week as well. So everybody will have plenty of heads up on when their articles are due.
And we do have something, Lynn, for you this month, Lynn, for ESO.
You're saying this month, you're talking about August.
Yes, for ESO.
Yeah.
So,
I do too.
okay.
Okay.
Yeah, and Penny, yours are due mid-August and we'll put in September issue. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Are there any questions in general right now about between now and say, like I said before, we really start getting a little bit deeper into the reporting side of things? Pat?
I was wondering if there's any option to put like just a little 3 or 4 sentences about, like, I would like to do awareness of our signature project program. And there's some awareness points that could be shared each month with different clubs. But right now I don't have a format for getting that to the clubs. I just wondered if the magazine or some other way we could have something to highlight,
So
facts and things to bring awareness.
So there's a couple things that happen too, where so we have a club presidents meeting every so often, and I'm getting ready to send out an e-blast. So it's something that if you send them along, they can be included there. But it's also something that if you want a Canva post created that people would see, because a lot of people will see these things on Facebook and Instagram. I notice, especially in the summer, I'm getting more response when something's on Facebook or Instagram than in an email. So that might be a way to tackle it better and more people will see it.
Okay.
Well, I don't use Facebook or Instagram for personal reasons. So
Right.
is there a way I could use the GFWC-NC Facebook and Instagram?
Yeah, and that's what I mean. So what
Oh,
I'm saying
okay.
is if you don't know how to create a Canva post,
Mhm.
then send it to Ashley what you want to have posted, and we can work with Jeanette and we can get them posted, so that they'll come up on Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn and across our social media platforms.
Okay.
Mhm.
Well, I've been noticing in News and Notes, they have been posting some facts and things, and I thought that might be something as a reminder for our International Day of Service. Thank you.
And I would piggyback on that with one of the things that I know Sherry and Heather did is they have compiled a newsletter. And some of you, I think most of you, but some of you get a newsletter from your GF counterparts. And hopefully, if you're getting those, they seem to sort of put together their own newsletter of sorts. And
Yeah.
Karen's going to attach that to her e-blast to the club presidents, and then they can then forward it out to, if they happen to be a club that has, let's say, all 5 CSPs, they have a chairman, then they can forward it to the appropriate chairman. If they, some clubs have enough to have, we've had this discussion, some of them have a chairman for every area of discipline, if you will, but then other clubs aren't large enough too, so they'll know who to push that out to. And I think, unfortunately, we don't have a means right now, unless I'm incorrect, Karen, we don't have a means to say, give Lynn, everybody that, all the chairman for all the clubs in conservation. I'm sorry, environment. So with that said, then we can simply send that to the club presidents and then they can forward it on to the appropriate person because they're going to know better who that is anyway.
Right, so that would be the way to share. So for example, like the e-blast that will go out a little later this week, it's gonna include, remember to register for the Boys and Girls Home Day of Service. It's gonna include International Day of Service. It'll include the newsletter for civic engagement, and then the upcoming reminder of the Zoom. So that's just kind of what's pertinent now, and that changes every couple months when I send them out. So anytime you have something, we can put it together, and as long as it's not too time sensitive and we hit the timing, we can get it out to the club presidents so they can share it with their chairman.
Would you mind including some of us CSP chairs when you send it to the presidents?
I will ask Jill. It's on a distribution through Constant Contact.
Okay,
So what I will do, Pat, is I will ask Jill if she could share it with Ashley, and then potentially she
forward
can
it.
kind of send you all what's going out each time.
that
I
would
can
be
do that
helpful.
because I have a
Okay.
group. I have you all as a group, so it'd be easy enough for me just to hit forward.
Right,
Oh,
because this
great.
group is all set up, it's kind of set up so it's automatically to the club presidents, but it'd be easy for me to make sure Ashley has it so she can send it to you all. So you just know, hey, this is what the presidents are being reminded about. And it is just a little slow right now because it's summer and a lot of clubs are on vacation. So, but we're trying to keep those things out that are upcoming that they need to register for too.
Thank you.
Karen, if they want something to go out, say in your e-blast to them, should they send it to me or send it to you and copy me? How do you want that? How's that best?
I would
Probably to-
say that they would send it to you, and let them, let me know. So if you collect one or two of them, you can send them to me at one time, Ashley, so I won't be missing anything. And if there's something like Pat was talking about and she wants it's time sensitive, then I would say then we would definitely want to look at doing a Facebook, Instagram post for something like that. That's time sensitive, that's not too big, then that would get the message out a lot quicker.
And,
Okay.
Karen, when is the deadline to get that to you so that you're sending it out to the presidents?
So our Club Woman magazine, deadline
Is the 15th? Yeah.
is the 15th. The e-blasts, I usually send one out. I'm probably sending about once a month, Pat, and Lynn, and there's no, definitive time frame as to when that is.
Mhm.
But if you send it when you have it, we can
Okay.
decide what's the best way to get the information there as quickly as we need to.
Okay.
And it may be that there's something that you need to go out and like a legislative alert will come out once in a while, and I'll have to send that out to club presidents. So I never quite know, when something's going to happen, but if we have it, we can decide what's the best way to go.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Could I ask a question, Karen,
Sure.
in relationship to the Boys and Girls Home, our
Uh-huh.
trip there in September? Could you send out about, just feel free to bring anything, for the country store or anything for the girls in the home?
Yes, that's on the flyer that'll go out.
Okay.
And
Yes, I
know-
saw that. But you can do that again.
Yeah, so we'll send the flyer to the club presidents again, and there's a QR code that's on there. And
Mhm.
Sandy, I looked today and there's not very many people registered, but I know a lot of people are going. So
Going, yeah.
yeah, so what I was trying to do was also say, please make sure you hit that QR code because Tom is planning lunch as well. And
That's
he's
right.
not going to
Yes.
have any idea how much.
How many? Yeah.
Right, how
Right.
many.
No,
So
no.
we'll try
Yes,
to get.
because he was asking me about that, Karen. I'm saying, I'm sure, that they'll let you know. Maybe it's not early, I mean, it's not soon enough, probably August, they'll let you know.
Mm,
Because yes, they need to know about how many to prepare the meals for.
Right, right. And then when I went ahead and looked at it and I was talking to Jill, so we decided it's going to be in the magazine that goes out next week, and it'll also be in the e-blast, because I've heard many people tell me they're going, but it's
Mhm.
not been registered through the QR code.
Right.
So that reminder will go out again.
okay.
Mhm.
I was also speaking with Tom about this, and I needed a deadline for registration, and he suggested September 1st, mainly because of lunch. But if they're going to have the little trolley that goes around, I mean, they need to sort of plan that, and I'm sure they want
Yeah.
us to feel welcome, and they need to know how many of us are coming.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sandy, we need to know how many of us are coming, right?
Yeah, yes, definitely.
Well, and I'll send a note out to, we'll get the message out to, and like I said, this is the time of year that it's really tough, because
Yeah.
Yeah.
everybody's taking the summer off. So, breaking through sometimes to
Yes.
say, hey, this is really important. And then even if a club president would have to go in and put 2 or 3 names down or whatever they need to do, we just need to use that QR code and get everybody registered so they know.
Right. Okay.
Well, and
And we're still selling the duck tickets. We haven't sold as many as we did last year. We sold, well, we didn't sell, I will be honest with you. Our goal was 30-some thousand, but we sold $57,000
Oh my
worth.
gosh. Wow.
Yes, really, and they were able to purchase 2 new vans. But some people just went ahead and gave like their donation $10,000 towards that, or $5,000. So right now we're not selling as many. I think we've got maybe 30,000 right now.
Okay.
So we're looking at, because it's coming up. It'll be here before we
Before
know
we
it. The
know it.
one in Winston-Salem
Yeah.
and the one at any of you that are close by that would like to go to the one in Wilmington, we'll be having that on a Friday night.
okay.
And if you'd like to buy a ticket, if you'll email me or call me, I'll send it to you in a self-addressed stamped envelope for you to send me the $10 back.
Bonus.
And
I mean,
just
I did
so-
that a lot last year. I sent out about 120 like that. So that's fine.
Wow.
Well,
Thank
and
you.
so everyone knows, so International Day of Service, of course, this year is domestic violence awareness. And our signups not as great as it was last year.
Last year?
And I'm
No,
not
not.
sure if it is because the focus has changed or everyone just hasn't gotten there yet. Last year we had about 37 clubs at the state. Between the state, we had 37 clubs and districts and the state register, whereas this year right now we're about at 27 or 28. So
Really?
we don't have as many, so that's also going out in the e-blast as well. I think a lot of people
Yes.
again are doing things, but
They're not reporting it.
it's not registered yet.
No.
Well, if somebody would room with me, I like to room with people. I would be glad to have the room and they could just room with me and stuff.
So is there any other questions from anyone? And like I said, I have a list of things.
I
Go
just
ahead.
have a quick question. Ashley, Erin, what is our club count for the state? How many clubs do we have?
100.
Total 100? Okay.
Exactly 100?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Exactly 100.
Exactly 100.
It sure is, because I put in letters in every envelope. It's 100.
Anna.
Is there a place on the site that distinguishes between a small club and a large club? Which ones have
Is
that
it on
designation?
is it on the admin? Is it on the forms, Ashley, that small and large is 29? 130 and above. Is
That's
that
right.
It tells you what they are, but there's
Mhm.
nowhere on the portal on the website that you can see the actual list, because that will change.
That would fluctuate,
obviously.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I can send you out a list of what we currently have because I think,
That would be great,
yeah,
That's, yes,
because
especially so we get close to the reports.
yes,
Yes.
yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's on my list. Is you'll get an updated list of the small and large clubs. Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
I do have a question about top 10 and reporting, if that's okay. May I ask that
Sure.
at this time?
Absolutely.
Is one of the guidelines that you are, as a club, not supposed to report the same project over and over unless you've made a change in the project?
No,
That's not, so you can
s-
you can report the same project year after year after year.
as long as you're doing it year after year after year.
Okay. I thought it was only if you had made a change in the project.
no,
No.
no. And there are a lot of projects that people do on an
Yes.
annual basis.
It could be
that
their club's
huge
signature
impact,
event.
and they definitely should report
Yeah.
them. Mhm.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
And
But the cool-
I do have, like I said, quite a few. I went back to all the questions I got from all of you throughout the year. I saved every correspondence. And so I've sort of made a list of all the questions, sort of a Q&A, so that everybody can sort of see if it was a question from you, Sherry, you already know the answer, but maybe it would be helpful for the others. So I've sort of
Right.
made a list of all of those as well.
good,
That's nice. Thank you.
Yeah.
very good.
All right. Well, if there's not any other questions, I will let you ladies go. And like I said, we will. You'll be getting some information from me via email here in the next. I'd say hopefully in the next 2 weeks, with regards to a little more direction for our fall meeting. And I'll actually be sending. I'm a big calendar person, so I don't know if this works for all of you, but I will be, what I'll probably do is send a calendar invite for that as we get a little closer. Send a calendar invite for the fall meeting so that I have one location I can go to. And if you could just RSVP to that, and I don't know if I'll do that through the calendar invite, or maybe for some people, it seems like they may not have a calendar that it corresponds with. Maybe I do it through an Evite, but just some way that I can sort of have an RSVP list and know who's coming and who's not. Because if you're not, you aren't going to be able to make it. And let's say you have a counterpart and they're not able to make it, then we'll have someone to sort of be able to stand in for you.
Okay.
But we'll do that a little closer to time as we just make sure that everybody's got their plans in place before we start doing that. Ready? Okay, well, thank you so much for joining me, ladies, and I'm looking forward to a fun and more informative year. Hopefully, I'll be a lot better guidance for you guys.
You have been great,
You've been
Ashley. We thank you
wonderful.
for
You've been
everything.
great too.
Thank you so
I
much for
definitely learned
tonight.
a lot. I have learned a lot.
Yes. Have a good night.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye-bye, all.
Bye-bye.
Stay
Bye.
cool.
Bye,
Everyone
baby.
stay cool.
Yeah, that's a hard thing to do, staying cool.
Cool.
Yeah.
I know.
Take care.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
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 Bye.
Good night,
Thanks, Ashley.
everybody.